from News 4 New York, this is a special report.
Good morning, everyone. We're going to interrupt programming to bring you an update from Governor Cuomo on coronavirus.
Let's listen in.
Accelerating, the numbers are accelerating, energy is accelerating, and action is accelerating. First, as I've said before, this is a national problem, and we need federal leadership. You look at the countries who have handled this. I don't care if it's China, South Korea, if it's Italy. They were all handled by national leadership. This is a national problem. It cannot be done in a piecemeal method. You need federal parameters to stop the national patchwork of density reduction closings. I did a few national interviews this morning, and I was watching the national news. You see a whole hodgepodge of efforts being taken across the country. This state is doing this state is doing this city is doing this. It's chaos. I think it actually feeds the feeling that the country's out of control. And there is no clear direction, and there is no clear path. California's doing this, New York is doing this, Illinois is doing this. It's the same problem across the country. The density may shift temporarily, but it is the same problem. Let the federal government say, these are the guidelines. Here are the guidelines on schools. Here are the guidelines on businesses. Here are the guidelines on travel. Rather than having a scramble of every local government, state government, trying to figure it out on its own. It makes no sense. It is also counterproductive, because then what it does, it allows what I call state shopping. In other words, you don't like the rules in New York? Well, then you go to Pennsylvania. You don't like what California is doing? Then you can come to New York. That's the last thing you want. That is the last thing you want. But when you allow this pattern of disparate policies, that's exactly what you're driving. And look, I manage the state of New York. All the local governments in the state of New York must have the same policy. Why? Otherwise, we would be creating the same problem that the federal government is creating. You can't have Albany with one set of rules, but Schenectady with a different set of rules, and Rensselaer with another set of rules. People will be confused. And again, if you don't like the rule, you get in your car, you drive 15 minutes, you're in a different jurisdiction subject to a different set of rules. So in New York, you cannot shop New York City versus Westchester versus Nassau versus Albany versus Schenectady. It's one set of rules for the entire state. And it should be one set of rules for the entire nation. And that is the role of the federal government and national leadership. And it is lacking. The federal government should put one position in place and coordinate it with the states. If the federal government isn't going to do what it should do, then the states have to try their best, right? And the best way is for me not only to have a uniform policy within the state of New York, but to the extent you can, cooperate with surrounding states so you all have a common set of practices, right? I don't want to close down bars in New York, but Connecticut leaves the bars open. Why? Because then many people will get in their car and they'll drive to Connecticut to go to a bar, which is the last thing we want. Now we have people who are drinking and driving. it makes no sense. I don't want to have one set of rules here and a different set of rules in New Jersey, because then I close down the bars, you'll get in the car, you'll drive to New Jersey. It makes no sense. Well, then get the states to coordinate themselves. Yes, very hard to do. Luckily, we have set a template where our regional states work together. Many of you came to our regional meeting on marijuana laws. And I have a good relationship that I've developed with the surrounding governors. So we have actually deployed that here. And I just did a call with Governor Phil Murphy of New Jersey and Governor Ned Lamont of Connecticut, and we are adopting the same policies. So there is no benefit to try to shop New York versus Connecticut versus New Jersey. There will be no more gatherings of 50-plus people. So if you were hoping to plan a graduation party, you can't do it in the state of New York, you can't go do it in the state of New Jersey, and you can't do it in the state of Connecticut. Casinos, we all have casinos. If I close my casinos, but New Jersey keeps their casinos open, we're going to have the same problem. All casinos will be closed effective 8 p.m. tonight, and they will stay closed until further notice. On all these closings, they are all until further notice, and hopefully I can coordinate with the other governors so we can have the same opening period, just the way we had the same closing period. Gyms are closed effective 8 p.m. tonight. I know that's a specific hardship for the people in this room because I can all see you are in masterful shape, buff even. There are other ways to exercise. Theaters closing at 8 o'clock tonight until further notice. Any bar or restaurant closes at 8 o'clock tonight. However, there is a silver lining for these establishments because we're also very aware of the economic consequences for these establishments. So the state liquor authority is going to change its rules. They'll have guidance up by 5 p.m. this evening that will allow bars, restaurants, distilleries to sell their products off premises. So whatever you could get, whatever you could order in the bar or restaurant or distillery or winery, you can purchase through takeout.